Paul continued to fight for victory, giving every ounce of energy he had left, and after 62 days of ultra running, none of us had much left to give at all. In the end, he just lost out to Andre, but put in a cracking performance. He was well chuffed.
Oh, thanks, kids. I'm not allowed to swear, but yeah, that hurt. Oh, that was awesome.
Whilst the overall leader, Krugakov, was happy to take it easy, safe in the knowledge that, barring disaster, he could not be caught. The German, Stefan Schlett, was a little over-enthusiastic with his high-fiving, methinks. After the complete isolation of the desert, it was tremendous to receive the support of the kids. I wonder if in years to come they will remember the time they cheered on these people who had traversed their wonderful continent by foot.
Come back to the centre line, you kids.
When they arrive in Canberra on Sunday, the athletes will have run 4,720 kilometres. They will have lost between 4 and 10 kilos each, be winded and sunburned, and backs, knees, ankles, feet and minds will be screaming for a break. Why do you do?
Come on, Paul, what's happened since the last time we spoke?
Just had a dummy spare.
Oh yeah, apart from that.
Okay, since Bob doesn't know what's going on, tomorrow we originally planned to make up the bit of distance that we had to cut out today early in the morning before the start. We won't have an opportunity, well, we will have the opportunity to do that, but we're also cutting a section of the course out tomorrow as well because of roadworks. We've decided, essentially, we've maintained the continuity right across Australia. We've done the coast-to-coast thing. We'll still fulfil the requirements of the race, as is everybody else, except for Konami, who pulled out today. The basic problem with trying to make up these gaps now that they're continuously throwing at us, they're moving the goalposts basically for us to run all the way from the coast to Canberra, but essentially we don't see that as an important part of the race anymore. We basically can't catch up with the sections that we're cutting out, so that's basically it.
Okay.
And that's basically what I would have said.
All that remained was 3 easy days into the finish in Australia's capital city, Canberra. It was mentally hard for Paul and I to keep going. For us, the race had finished when we had reached the warm Pacific waters on the deserted beach at Eden, but we still had to reach Canberra to be official finishers in the inaugural Trans-Australia foot race. To ease the boredom, I too decided to go for the stage win, but the motivation wasn't there, the legs weren't there, and the desire wasn't there. I'd left some of that in the Pacific Ocean. I'm an Australian crosser. Come on, walk faster. Jeez, I'll be last at this rate. And we're hitting Canberra in 2 days, and I'm wrapped, mate. Marcus was wrapped too, in a bandage around his head. He had tripped over and landed on a nail in the road. He needed several stitches.
Runners usually run better when they
take out your brain.
Yeah.
Come on, Marcus. All right, 4:05:23.
I have to complain about what I feel like this. You have to put it out.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Really start. Practice coming into the town there for him on this place there.
Hospital's right over here.
Oh yeah, you got to take him up. It's not
Hospital's right over here.
George Adley's
Right here by the first circle, he goes south.
Paul Everett's got bigger quads than you.
Well, you could have had second, you're outclassed by the better athlete.
Well,
Am I commenting on Bobby?
anything.
Why you lost second place?
I didn't, that wasn't even a question. How's your head? How's your head?
And here's Susan. Say hi to the camera, Susanna. Suzanne Batman. And now I'm going to catch Kruger Cop. See you later.
The penultimate day was a celebratory day. I ran along happily with my sister Susan. Little did I know that my other sister Alison had driven down from Sydney to surprise me at the finish with her 2.5-month-old son Seb. He'd grown so much since I'd last seen him, just before I'd flown from Sydney to Perth before the start of the race, all that time ago. Alison didn't recognise me at first, such had been the extent of my weight loss. Seb certainly didn't recognise me.
Hello,
You're going to have some
Seb.
of his body fat, Bob.
You know me? I'm your uncle.
No, he recognises his
I
uncle.
better not with my lips. Oh, he's massive. Jesus, how much did he weigh? Jesus. Seb?
How are you feeling the night before the last day?
Feeling really knackered, Chris. I got a bad knee. I've had 18 strongbows. I don't want to run anymore. But no, seriously, it's the last stage tomorrow. And I just can't wait to finish now. I really have had enough of running. I just can't wait to finish and just be normal. Well, as normal as I can get.
Mm.
And it's just going to be a good life after this. It's just been like, I've accomplished everything I wanted to on this. More, really. And now I can just kick back and relax for a while.
It's the last evening of the race, the night before the last stage, and God, it feels really weird. I can't quite get my head around it. Part of me is glad it's over, so I can go home and see my family and my friends. But the other half of me is really sad it's over. I mean, the more I think about it, the more it's... Yeah, I had a few tears today just thinking about it being over. Because we just met so many wonderful human beings on this race.
Say something to the
We
camera.
just met some wonderful characters as well. I mean, we've got Georgios, the Latvian, who just hasn't got a clue. I mean, the guy just runs, and that's all his life sort of consists of. And he just wanders all over the road like a maniac. We had George Orderly, aka the Flying Fossil, who was just going to prove that you don't have to spend a penny to run across the continent and get lots of fame and glory out of it. We've had guys like Kruglikov, who is just an awesome athlete. I mean, full respect to him, the guy is just phenomenal. I mean, to run this course with an average speed of 14k an hour for 65 days is just unbelievable. The guy is amazing. And the people who've pulled out have given it their best shot. I mean, met some great people there. Dave Crinity, who you might remember from the first couple of weeks, he came back tonight and he's had a meal with us, and he'll be out cheering us on tomorrow. He's a great guy. We've seen some wonderful places, the cliffs, the Bundra Cliffs. Oh, that was amazing, especially after not seeing the sea for a long time. The conditions we went through, the extreme heat of the goldfields, that was quite a shock to the system, but I've sort of got used to the heat now. Had some severe sort of thunderstorms and freak rainstorms on some days, where it just hailed and poured down with rain. We've gone through fire, and must have been, was it? No, it must have been until mid-second week, I can't honestly remember now, where the race was prematurely stopped and we had to wait for them to sort it out, and the rebel gang, as they were known, they ran the stage even though they were told not to, because they wanted to run the whole way across Australia. They didn't want to miss out a section, crossing from state to state. So a bit of a party and a few photographs taken there. On a sad point, one of the worst experiences again was the death of Brian just before Seduna. That was an awful week. I suppose it took people a week to sort of get their heads around it. But his memory's not going to be forgotten, no way. I think everyone's gone away and taken a little part of his sort of his spirit and his energy. And then in the last few weeks we've gone through some of the mountainous areas like Hall's Gap, and through Harndorf, it's a lovely little German village, and some wonderful climbs there. From west to east we've just seen some really lovely countryside, and that's been a real highlight. It's a very unique way to see Australia. And now in 24 hours it's all going to be over, and it's going to be hard to come to terms with it. It's become a way of life. And for everyone on this race, it's like a little community. It's like a family. It really does feel like a family now. We've got one more day. I'm running. The last few days I've been saying I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to run a marathon, and I keep putting it off. And because tomorrow being the last day, I've got to go for it. So I'm going to run out of days. I guess you think no matter how hard life gets, or no matter how many obstacles you are put in your way, there is absolutely, you can achieve anything. No matter, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. I mean, one of the mottos of this race was everything is possible. And God, coming away from this, I firmly believe that now. When I started this race, I thought, God, over 4,000 kilometres. That's just, that can't. I didn't say it couldn't be done, but that's going to be so tough. I can't see anyone being able to complete it. But these people have done it, and they're just really amazing people.
It's Dave. Dave's back. Dave.
I'm
Oh, I hate people who say that.
It's been a hard run all this way.
Dave is back. No, in all seriousness. Day 65. Michelangelo to Canberra. This is a day I never thought I'd see. I thought I'd be long gone by now, and it's going to be a bit of an awkward day, but I'm just going to enjoy today. And we've got our marathon man here, Chris Arnold.
Hello.
Hello. I'm looking.
I'm looking better than you.
Look at those legs on him. He's got a whole marathon to run today.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it, Chris?
No worries.
And so we're off on the last stage into Canberra. It was so strange to think that the next day we'd not have to run any longer. We'd been slaves to the constraints of the Trans-Australia Footrace for over 9 weeks. Soon we would be free. But in many ways, although glad to stop running, I did not want to be freed. I'd loved the whole experience. I'd had the time of my life, and soon it would be over. It'd be like losing my best friend, a friend I occasionally argued with, but loved unconditionally. It would be a huge loss.
Last one. Yeah!
Eventually, I crossed the line for the end of the time section of the race. I'd come 7th. All that remained was a jog into Parliament House and then the award ceremony in Glebe Park. Paul made it to the finish in 9th place, an heroic performance from a great friend.
The only real bloody Aussie.
You stink.
For a couple of hours, have a few drinks.
Yeah, I want to be pleasant. This is what Chris looks like after running a marathon.
Hey, chugging.
Hopefully he'll appreciate what I go through every day now, or did go through, because now I've finished, I don't care. I won't have to go through it anymore.
Thank you, Australia. See you again, but not on this race.
There was one more prize left to give out. Paul was a very deserving winner of the inaugural Brian Smith Memorial Award, awarded for fair play.
I've been running 17 years. There's been in the sport that long, and I've never met anybody who did not have a wonderful word to say about Brian. He was the greatest ultramarathon runner Australia has ever produced, but that was totally overshadowed by the quality of gentleman that he was. And after 17 years in distance running, this is the greatest thing I will ever receive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. 3,000 miles, 5 million footsteps in 65 days. What seemed an impossible feat is possible. It is an achievement I had to fight for every step of the way. But it's not a superhuman effort, it's like everything in life. If you want it badly enough and work hard enough, achievements like these are within us all.